A, what's your A, and then get to your B, but you have to have after you get to your B, you have to want to surpass your B. And I'm gonna make this make sense. Every time we have a goal and we get to the goal, we want a new goal. And eventually the goal gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we learn more and more lessons as we go through the process. My end game, I want to influence 1 billion people. I want to influence 1 billion
Nice.
people mentally, physically, emotionally, because I know how hard life is, and I know how good it feels when you're feeling good about life, when you're feeling good about others. And when I was a younger kid, I was an overweight kid, and I ended up losing the weight, and it felt great to do that. And then I went after my next goal. I wanted to be a high level athlete, and I did really, really good in high school, state champion in several different sports, and an All American football player. And I ended up fighting in the UFC. Um, and then from there, I was like, what's the bigger goal? What's the next goal? What's the next goal? And as I went after influencing 1 billion people, um, I started learning some big time lessons on how I needed to surround myself with the right kind of people. So I'm grateful to have met you and to have met Phil, because when you're around the right type of people, uh,
Mm-hmm.
ways you never even knew that you could support people. Like the competition, it's really a competition with yourself. And then eventually you realize it's not even a competition, it's just a place of having gratitude. When you can have that gratitude in place and say, I'm just going to wake up and be the best me that I can be today, and help others be the best they can be today, you'll shock yourself and you'll shock others. That's where I'm at. The end goal, 1 billion people, let's shine bright together, because that's the way we were built. We're all children of God.
Gotcha, gotcha. No, that's fire. I know, and you and I have been talking, ongoingly, and I feel like, hey, every time I talk to Cliff, it's one of those things where I feel like, I'm going through therapy. Like I'm gonna get this, you know, and I ain't gotta pay for it, you know.
Yeah.
So, well, not yet, not yet. I ain't gonna say everything come at a cost. So, but no, so that's definitely great. So definitely inspiring. Now, I know that you were on one of your shows or so like that. I mean, that you did. You were mentioning you have some clients currently,
Yeah.
and I guess what does that program look like? Like, if you could walk us through that layout of that program.
Yeah, ultimately what I do is focus on people's marketing specifically. And marketing, so in business we have our marketing and sales, we have our operations, and then we have the finance. And they all have this nice blend of dance when you can put all the pieces in place. And ultimately, as I was looking at, I really started focusing on moving company owners. The reason being, I'm partnered with a moving company owner, Curtis Teach Out, an amazing individual, and I've learned a lot through the partnership. And I realized, like, the biggest thing we want as any business owner is we want freedom. Like, we did what we did for a reason. We didn't go out and just say, "Oh, I want to do this," just to do it. We want it for something more, for something deeper. And in order to get that freedom, I actually was in Louis Massaro's event 2 years ago, and it's so true. Is if we get raving fans and higher profits, we win in the business game. And not only do we win, our clients win. And so with the marketing strategy, it's about attracting the people that you're built to attract, so that you can have those raving fans. You can get the profits that you're looking to get, and everybody wins because you have this machine that churns out for you. You have this strategic machine where your people coming in, you're like, all right, I'm getting the right people. I have the right messaging. and I'm talking to them in the right way, and we're all winning together.
Gotcha, gotcha. No, that's awesome. And I think it's similar to something that I do. Obviously, a lot of you may or may not know, especially the new people that's in the community, that, hey, I offer a coaching program. And the coaching program, runs in full circle. Hey, it starts with mindset, because mindset is everything. If you don't have your vision for where you want to go with your business, what are we doing this for? What is your why? What is, how do you tie that all in to your vision? Because one, understanding your why is crucial to everything. We're gonna face,
Game changer.
we're going to be facing adversity going into this busy season. Busy season is to test us and our mentality. Some people like, oh man, I can't wait to take a vacation in the summer or whatever the case is because vacation time and, it's hot to go to such. And the thing is, hey, we only have a few months. We have 120 days, I like to think. From May 1st to August, the end of August. September may still have some of that busyness, but we really have those 4 months of 120 days. So to take a vacation, no, this is our year. This is our time. We need the busy season. But the busy season will test us because we need to stuff a whole 12 months into 120 days.
Yeah.
And we need to get it because basically a lot of us don't know if they're going to make it through the next winter. So they're like, oh, okay, well, hey, you know what? But it's still summertime. I gotta enjoy life. That it comes down to what's your why, what's your determination, how what were you doing in this downtime to enjoy a vacation? Because basically the business should never stop being busy. And when I say that, I mean in that mentally, as owners, we should always be busy. We should always be game planning. So during the summer months, we're planning for the off season. During the off season, we're planning for the busy season. And we're constantly implementing different things to make sure that, hey, you know what, we're going to be successful. What happened last summer? Oh man, last summer we came up short with staff members, or we were just so overbooked and we couldn't take certain jobs. Oh man, the trucks broke down. Oh, this happened. And it was a true test. So now, hey, are you focused on trying to better that? So going into the next summer, you kind of have that going on, and then hey, there will be a new problem. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
more you tighten your systems and the more you dial into your why and why you're doing this, ultimately, what's the long game? Not, oh well, hey, I just want to build this company up, make some income, and then sell it off and ride into the sunlight. It's not a strong enough why. Because as soon as you get to that point of feeling like, oh man, things are tight. Things are going really bad. Customers are yelling at us. Customers are not happy. I can't please them. You know what? F this. I'm going about my business. And but if you have that why where it's like, you know what, I'm doing this for my family, or I'm doing this because maybe I came from a rough backing and I really just, I need to change the trend of my generation so that my next generation don't have to go through what I went through. That can be a powerful why, where it's like, okay, you know what? No matter what, I got to get it. I got to hustle. I got to grind. I got to do what others won't do so that basically we get where we got to go.
Yeah. Being the leader that you were meant to be for you and the people that you care about. And the people that you care about are going to be your customers and your family and your friends. And just visualizing that freedom, really visualizing that freedom. There's a saying, be, do, have. And I also call it see, do, have. Because when we can be what we want to feel, when we can really be that thing, and we can do what is necessary, do the things that are necessary. And the necessary things are not always fun in the beginning, but they get fun because when we practice enough things, we get used to doing those things. We build in new habits, and then we have the things that we want. And I say see, do, have too, because sometimes we're doing our best and we don't know what we're doing wrong. And when you put yourself in the right kind of rooms, like that's why I do the mastermind. Um, and I do other masterminds as well. I go into masterminds because I always want to be sharpening my game, being the best me that I can be. And when I stretch myself into, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I didn't see it that way. Oh, let me try this. Call myself the curious expert, being as curious about life as I possibly can, being curious about everybody's journey and seeing why certain people get to where they get to. How did this $10 million company come about? How did this $100 million company come about? What did they do? What did they try? What did they test? What did they drive into? What worked? What didn't work? When did they rest? When did they run? um
Mhm.
and sharing other people's stories and learning their stories, because we're all trying to get it. At the end of the day, we're all trying to get it. And the truth is, we all can get it. Like there is no competition in your getting it. Me and you, the one thing with me and you, we can't compete with each other because we're two different people. We're going to attract different people. And we can even say very similar things, if not the same thing, but we say it in our way. And in our way, it's like, oh, yeah, Dwight, I got what Dwight was saying. And oh, yeah, I got what Cliff was saying. And we're saying the same damn thing. Like we're saying the same damn thing, but in our way of saying it, in our way of saying
Yeah.
it, our unique way of saying
Yeah, and that's the truth. Like it resonates differently when somebody else says it. It's just how many times have you heard maybe your wife or your spouse say something and
I
maybe
literally was about to get into that. I've been married for 16 years. I've been married for 16 years, and there's things that I will say that I know that I've said multiple times. Someone else will say it, and then she'll get it. And I'm like, isn't that?
right. So yeah, it's just, how it resonates with you. Ultimately, the moving industry is slightly changing. Technology is changing the game, but the physical labor is still got to be done. How we service these
Yeah,
customers still got to be done. So at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, you know what? You may hear it once, you may hear it twice, you may hear it 10 times. I've been through multiple mentorship trainings where it feels like, damn, is this on repeat? Like, sheesh, I feel like I heard
yeah,
it. But have I acted on it is the thing. Have I implemented it into my business at that point? Is it a thing? Like I've been hearing about block time since college. And
mm,
and it's one of those things where it's like block time, block time. Oh man, I'm not doing block time. I ain't got time for block time. And that's the whole
yeah,
purpose is having time. Like, so it's just
yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
okay, what is this thing they call block time? I'm keep hearing about it, keep hearing about it. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Making sure I section off my day so that my day isn't intermingling with each other. Like, okay, hey, I need to go out to the doctors today, but oh snap, I got a meeting at 1 o'clock. Oh snap, I gotta get to guys so I can dispatch the guys. Oh snap, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And it's kind of like, how do I organize this is the key to block time. And and to your sanity is like mental health. Why are you
yeah,
chasing every little task down? What is really important? You have only 24 hours in a day, and probably most of the people spend about a third of that sleeping. So
yeah,
now you have
yeah.
16
It's that
hours.
prioritizing. Yeah, that prioritizing. It's so big. And I even go into, we hear about it, and then do we act on it? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not even a yelling at a person like you need to act on this, because you're immersing yourself into something, and when you immerse yourself into it, eventually you get to it when you get to it. Like as I've learned on this journey, is you get to it when you get to it. So even when my wife doesn't necessarily hear something, it doesn't mean I won't repeat it. It might not be me, it might be me, I don't know. And I've learned to just take life as life is. Like I don't have to get mad about anything. I just go out and do the best that I can do for me, and do the best I can do for others. That's it. But when there was one guy, his name's Alex Hormozy, and this is one of the most focused people that I know. just the way he speaks. He's a very focused individual. And as an entrepreneur, he said it took him 5 years to get any kind of focus. 5 years. So it's a process. It's always a process. And it's not about beating yourself up. It's about going through the process. You've been hearing about block time since you were in college. And now it's like, oh crap, this is real. This really gets me doing the things that I need to do. And ultimately, like one thing that really got it in place for me was when you're choosing to do something, you're choosing not to do another thing. Like every time you choose something, you're also choosing not to do something else. And when we realize that, that's when we start saying, oh crap, my life matters. The choices I do make and do not make matter. And that makes it a more fun game for me because it's like, all right, I got to make sure I'm making the best optimal choices for myself, for my community, and for my family.
Yeah, I hate that mental thing where it's just like, well, if I choose to do this, then I'm not gonna do this. It's like I don't want to think like that. Like it's just like, damn, like I want to do it all, but if I go on this path, I can't go this way.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
ultimately we can't do everything, everyone. Some of us may be thinking small, and hey, you know what? Eventually you get into the right circle and your thoughts, will get beyond you. And some of us is thinking too big. And it's just not enough time in a day to get to that point of getting everything done. So we do need to prioritize exactly what we're going to choose to do. So whether that's, you know, figuring out, okay, hey, I got 16 hours in a day. I know I need to eat breakfast, unless you're going to eat breakfast on the go. I know I need to eat lunch. So, okay, granted, I may have 14 hours in my day. Now, if you're running a moving company, you're going to chomp that down a little bit more because, you got to deal with some of the fire going on in a day. Hey, I got to get the guys out the door. I got to make sure everything's going good. If you're micromanaging, and then throughout the day, you got people constantly asking you questions. So let's cut off another 4 hours of distractions. So now you have 10 hours to really get your personal life done, and you got to get some work done to push the needle forward. So
yeah,
how do you manage that 10 hours effectively? Again, hey, I don't need to be checking my emails 3 times a day because obviously emails alone, I'm checking them, checking them, checking them. That's another 30 minutes per session, checking my emails, replying back to emails, waiting for someone to reply back in a timely fashion. And these people are replying back at whatever time they want to reply back. Then hey, someone's writing you on social media messenger, or some TikTok pops up on your phone and you're just like, oh man, I got to check this TikTok out. And life is going to distract us. So
yeah,
now that 10 hours is dropping even faster. And you're just like, and by 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., you're like, damn, did I get anything done today? Like I
yeah,
felt like I was working, but you really didn't notice that you was getting distracted so many times. So really just having that block time where you say, hey, from 9 to 10, from 9 to 9:30, I'm checking my emails, and hey, if nobody replies between 9 and 9:30, hey, I'll see you on my next check, which may be around 12 to 12:30. And then hey, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, okay, hey, you know what? I'm going through the sales meeting. I'm having a meeting with my sales team, and we're gonna go over what we need to go over from 10 to 11. So if somebody calls about marketing, hey, I got this marketing opportunity for you. Do you have a few minutes to talk? Unfortunately, no. You call me during my sales meeting time. I can't talk. I wouldn't even answer the phone because obviously at the end of the day, you're busy. Treat it like,
mhm,
corporate America, like you have a virtual assistant. Oh, well, sorry, Mr. Starks is not available right now. Could you give me a call back? Treat it
yeah,
like, treat it
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. It's true because we juggle so many things, and it's figuring out when to juggle what, right? And ultimately, I say we're all doing the best that we can with the belief systems that we have. And ultimately, if we're where we're at, we usually need an upgrade in our belief systems. And that means like, can someone take us at an even higher view so we can see a bigger picture and give us a reason to why we should do it differently? That's the one thing that I would say, like, why okay, with what I'm doing, why should I do it differently?
Hmm.
And the only thing that will effectively move the needle for a person is when you can say, oh, well, if you do it this way, then you'll get this. Like block time. You don't just do block time just to do it. You have a reason behind why you're doing it so that you actually do have more time. You're very meticulous with what your time is so that you can have more time on your journey. And that's the name of the game. And when that clicks, people are like, "Oh, well, then I'm going to start doing this because I want more time. Like my time is the most important thing that I have. I can't pay for that back. It'd be cool
Hmm.
if I could." They're like, "Here's $10,000 and that's another extra 5 years. Thank you."
Right, right.
But
No.
we don't
And
get it back.
yeah, and like I said, Cliff is right. At the end of the day, think about it like this. Like, okay, so usually I block out my whole Friday just to focus on some aspects of my business that I want to make sure that, gets right. So I'm not taking any meetings, I'm not taking anything. Hey, this is just that time for my mental creativity to come out and me focus on what I need to focus on without any distractions. And last Friday I said, hey, you know what? I don't want to focus on that task. I want to take a day off from that task or whatever the case is. And it left my whole Friday free. And I was just like, is there anything else that you want to do? And I'm like, you know what? It isn't on your block time. So you better go out and enjoy your day, because basically you took that task off and you set that time aside. Now, again, there's pluses and minuses to it. You could probably always be doing something, but again, you don't have to force feed work, even as entrepreneurs. If it isn't something that's pushing the needle forward, don't say, "Oh, you know what? I need to work. I need to check all the voicemails, or I need to, you know, I need to call these people, or I need to do this." If it's not of major importance, don't force feed it, because basically as entrepreneurs we can always find work. That's one thing about us that we have that our employees don't have. Our employees are, they're coming to a job that we are paying them to do, so they're not, in some cases they're not going to find work for themselves,
Yeah.
but we can find work because, hey, we know that where we want our business to go, and obviously our business is more important to us than our employees at times.
Yeah.
So, don't just find senseless tasks that's just gonna not really get you, going in the right direction, but instead really just start tying up your time and you start having like 125 tasks on your to-do list that absolutely means nothing. Only 5 of them really mean, okay, hey, you're gonna push the needle forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd love to ask the audience, if you guys have any block time schedules that work for you, or if you have any that didn't work for you, and why did it work for you, or why didn't it work for you? Uh, my one thing that I've learned is I can't have too many tasks, because if I have too many tasks, I feel like I'm stretched way too thin. Um, but when I can hand it off and delegate certain tasks, and specifically delegate tasks I'm just not as good at, I'm not as proficient in. My VAs can be more proficient in certain tasks, and I could be more proficient in completely different things. As Dwight was talking about, going to get the work, going to get people in a position so they can all get paid, going to put us all in a position to all win. And ultimately, we all want to win in this game. No one's raising their hand like, "Hey, how can I lose? How can I not get paid? How can my life, how can my life be as hard as possible?" We want to win, and looking at and realizing, hey, everybody's in a position to want to win, right? And being the best leader, like the best leader is the one who's they know how to celebrate and when to celebrate, and they know how to make sure people win in their game.
You
They know how
and
to
it
make sure people win in their
just
life.
had me think. You remember back in grade school when the teachers were like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Everybody starts with 100 starting the semester, and it's only
Yeah.
up to you to fail." Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yep.
and I felt like that was so motivating because you wasn't starting from 0 to 100. It was like, okay, hey, you start from the top. How far are you going to let yourself fall?
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and I think that was the most inspiration in a sense that a teacher can give you, is just like, hey, it's up to you to fail versus it's up to you to succeed. You
Yeah.
know, kind of like it was just a weird approach, but it kind of hit. And I was like,
It
okay, you know,
it's
oh
up to
damn,
you.
right. I'm
Yeah,
like, damn,
it's up to you.
I'm at a 90. Oh shit, you better get on your thing. You better.
It's the most fulfilling and terrifying thing at the same time when you realize, hey, this is on you. Um, but when you get into that space, like, holy crap, this is on me. Like, yeah, I can
Mhm.
make my dreams a reality. Yeah, I can do the things I want to do. Speak them out. Speak them out. When I said I wanted to influence 1 billion people, I did it on a live Facebook, right? And I'm like, did I really just say that? Like, yeah, yeah, I really said that. I really said that. And there were times it was so hard. Like I was literally on bed rest for 10 days because I made like it was a crucial error that I made on my part, and I realized where the error was. And it was just off of what you were talking about, working because you have to work, like having to do something. I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and my body burnt out. Um, my son ended up being sick, and I didn't get my normal routine of sleep. And from there, everything just came crashing down, and it sucked. And I
Right.
remember, um, I've conditioned my brain to be super, super positive. It's a conditioned thing. And I'm laying in the bed, like not able to move. And I'm thinking to myself, how do I do this right? Like, I know there's a way. I know there's a way. And I learned a
Hmm.
lot um, being on that bed for 10 days. I learned
No,
a
that
lot.
no, I definitely hear that, and I know that at one point my back gave out on me, and I was at that point I was a very young guy, and I'm still young, so you
Yeah.
know, but it
Yeah.
was one of those things where I'm in my early 20s, and hey, my back is giving out. I'm literally on the floor, in tears,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, yo, this can't be life.
Yep.
Like, it's saying work smarter, not harder type
Yep.
thing, and clearly I'm working too hard, and I got to figure this out because if this is happening at 20, oh my
Yeah.
God, anytime I'm in my 30s, 40s, and it was one of those things where it's just like, you know what? No, this isn't life. After the second time, I think, or third time my back ever gave out, I was just like, you know what? This isn't life. This is a no-go. I definitely have to figure out a different way, different route, and at that point, I think I was working for someone else. I was working at Target, I believe, and just trying to really break my back for pennies on a dollar because they didn't really care.
Yep.
Hey, they just want to make sure you come to work.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where it was just like, you know what? You have so many ideas. You have so much thought, so much you can contribute when you really want to. And it's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. Everybody plays their role. But
Mhm.
it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, sometimes these top managers aren't taking your thoughts into consideration because hey, they made it where they are based on other people's thoughts. So your thought and how quickly they can implement your thought is going to be a long trial and error type thing. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel like, okay, well, hey, I'm not going to contribute nothing. I'm just going to, just go to work or whatever the case is. So
Yep.
eventually, if you can learn to get into that point of being an entrepreneur where you're just like, hey, you know what? I want to run my own business. I see everything that went wrong working for other people, and I want to turn that to make it work for my organization. So for me, I have an open door policy with my staff. Hey guys, when we have meetings every quarter, I want to know your thoughts. How can we be better? Because we can dictate from the top up, top down, I mean, but if you, as the employee, have an idea of how we can be better as a group, hey, we want to indulge that. We'll take your thoughts, we'll take everybody's thoughts into consideration. We'll run it over management's meeting, see if this is something that we can probably implement. And by the next meeting, we'll debrief and say, hey guys, based on what we last talked about, these were the topics that were up for discussion. And here's what changes that we were looking to make to help make everybody's job better.
Yep.
And a lot of people take to it. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not just a number, I'm being heard. Yo, that idea I implement, and they implement it into the company. Yo, I love this place. And and maybe I'm a little dramatic, but I think I'm on the sign.
Well, I do say in a big, big way. um, it's so important to be seen and to be heard, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I say from the top down and the bottom up, you know, everybody's important. Everybody is crucial in their own way. And letting them know, like, even if you don't implement a plan, explaining why you're not implementing it to them. Like, I think that's important to do. Like, hey, I heard what you said, and this is the reason why we're doing it this way. Does that make sense? And hey, that was, and keep up the great ideas, because we're conditioning one another. We're always conditioning one another. And I want people to be conditioned for growth. I want people to say, okay, how do I make things better for me and for everybody else? Like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I do something, it's how do I make them better for me, but how do I make them better for Dwight? How do I make them better for Phil? How do I make it better for their communities? How do I make it better for my communities? And that's the name of the game. Like, everybody can win when people realize that. And what's interesting, even in my fighting days, right? So when I would fight in the UFC, I I can win and I can lose, but that doesn't mean I'm a loser. You know, if I lose the match, I'm still a winner in there. I'm a winner because I get to learn something. Like, oh, he got me with that. Oh, I didn't see that one coming. Oh, okay. Oh, I'll get better
Shoot,
here.
in the
Oh, I'll
UFC,
change this.
I can imagine any fight. You don't see that? Oh God damn.
Well, this is the reason I'm able to wake myself up and just bring it up. Um, when I would get ready for fights, right? I'd be so nervous. And when you're getting ready to walk on that stage, like the butterflies, they're real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna just ignore them and pretend like they're not there. Like, they're there, they're real. But I gotta get my energy up because I gotta get ready to go. Me being nervous and timid and freaked out, that's gonna get me killed. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I'm like, all right, body, wake up, let's go, let's have some fun. And when I do that, it's infectious for me and it's infectious for others. It's infectious for the crowd, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I just get. Hey, we got to wake ourselves up. We got to get ready to go. We got to do what we have to do. We got to have some fun with what we're doing. I also learned that as a personal trainer too, because people, it was the weirdest thing. They would pay me, right, to work them out, and then they wouldn't like to work out. So I had to figure out, like, all right, I gotta change this game up for everybody who's doing it. And what's super cool, this is how conditionable we all are. My kids love working out. They love it because I make it fun for them. It's
Mm-hmm.
about having fun. If we're having fun, like, oh crap, winter's here, I'm gonna lose and bleed money. Like, well, how can you not lose and bleed money? What could you do differently? What could we change? How can we get curious? And
You know,
oh my goodness, summer's here. Oh, I got all these, like, all right, well, how can you juggle it better? What can you do? What can you do
right.
differently?
So no, I was gonna say that, one of the things is, like you mentioned, is like making fun out of something that's normally not fun. Like, okay, so training. Training your
Yeah.
employees, training yourself. You're like, oh God damn, like I don't want to learn. I want to watch TikTok, and I want to watch the latest trend.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yes, we can do that. But hey, it's just like anything else. If you want to learn it bad enough, make it a game, make it fun.
Yeah.
Um, Mike McAllowitz from the author of Profit First
Hmm.
was like, okay, you know what? People need to do better at saving their money.
Yeah.
And but it needs to start not in your adulthood, it needs to start as a kid.
Yeah.
And kids are like, oh well, I don't want to save. Saving, that sounds like an adult thing. Like I want to just spend my money,
Yeah.
type of thing. And it's just like, okay, well, hey, we were all there at one point where it's like, if we got money, we run into the candy man. Hey, can I get it? Can I get this? Can I get this?
Yeah.
And you know, um, one of the things that resonated was because for me, like my savings journey started when I was very, very young. And it was one of those things where my parents would only give me limited amount of money. Like, oh, I'm talking about like, hey, my father said, hey, I'm gonna give you $1 for allowance for the week. And I'm like, $1? What am I gonna do? But this is but this is when,
Figure
stuff
out
was
how to stretch that thing.
right. So, it was like, hey, a quarter can buy a quart of water or, a quarter bag of chips when the stuff was that cheap. you
Yeah.
know, and it was just like, okay, you know what? Okay, I got $1. I can't complain about it because at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know. So how can I stretch it? And some days, do you need stuff from the store? Yes, you're a little kid. Yes, you know, you want to be like everyone else and have this and that. But hey, you're not in that situation. So take what you have, stretch it until you get more money. So similar
Yeah.
to what people are doing now, where people are like, oh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck or whatever the case is. You don't necessarily have to do that. You just have to be able to manage your money properly so that pretty much that money extends. And even if you don't get paid that next paycheck, maybe your money will extend to the following pay period. And you
Hmm.
know, and now when you do get that back pay, you're like, oh snap, like this money is really working for me. So from a kid standpoint, Mike McAllowitz was like, hey, you know what? Let's make it a game. Let's, have multiple piggy banks. And hey, this piggy bank is going to be for, hey, I want to buy myself a toy, or this
Yeah.
piggy bank is going to be for, hey, I want to get me something really, really big or whatever the case is, and it starts that low, but you start to have fun with the money. Hey, you know what? I want to put money into stocks. I want to see that money grow, or I want to put money into um, my high interest savings accounts, or whatever the case is. Diversify. Hide your money away and don't even think about it. Play games with your money, because at the end of the day, your money will grow and you won't even know it. But if you right now are a person who's putting all their money when they get paid into one account, and you're paying your bills out of that account, you're trying to have some money for yourself, and you're just trying to do whatever you can with that money, you already lost the battle. You already
Yeah.
lost the match. Kind of like separate it up, play games with it, and watch it grow so astronomically that you're just thrown through a loophole or something.
Yeah. 100%. It was crazy. Like when I read up on Mike McCowitz too, pain moves us. Like the one thing that I know for sure is pain is a great motivator. And yeah, it's a great motivator. Mike McCowitz, the reason he wrote it, uh, he ended up hurting himself and his business terribly. And he thought he had money coming in and he didn't because he wasn't reading it properly. And when he saw, like, oh my goodness, I don't have any profit coming into my business, like it hit him. And I'm not gonna tell the whole story because it's his story. And I would butcher the heck out of it anyway. But I I remember his little girl coming to him with her piggy bank and saying, "Dad, is this enough for everybody?" And I mean
Oh yeah.
that's soul crushing. That's soul crushing. I could only imagine what he was feeling in that moment. But that's where the light comes too. To say like, I got to make this right. I have to make this right. And he did. And not only did he make it right for himself, he wrote books to make it right for others too.
Hmm.
We're going through our process and pain hits us. And they say God hits us with a feather, a bat, and then a semi truck. And as I've gone through my journey, I want to get hit by more feathers. I want to learn more lessons. I want to get hit by more feathers. I don't want to get hit by the semi truck. You were saying you were 20 years old and your back was giving out. That was an opportunity. That's your body saying, "Is this really where you want to go?" No, I don't. Like I want to go somewhere else. I want to change the game.
Right. And like I said, education is powerful. Obviously I'm not going to talk down about college, because hey, everybody's going to, you're going to make your decisions whether you want to go there or you don't want to go there. So I'm not going to put my politics with college. Obviously I went and I got 2 degrees. So, hey, I don't want to be that guy to say, oh, don't go. At the end of the day, you do what you do. But self-teach it should be your motivation.
Yep.
Teach yourself, because at the end of the day, we're always learning. So don't, leave the limited education that college is going to get to you, because they're really limited based on your what do you call it? Your degree that you're going for. So if you're going for business administration, or if you're going for accountant, hey, you're all the courses are geared around you getting better at accounting. So but you may not know about history. You may not know about, financial management. You may not know about certain things that you need to know about. So at the end of the day, when you get into the real world, you're just, or what they call the real world, you're like, man, how do I, hire employees? How do I, run a business? How do I pay myself? Like you have so many questions. And
Yep.
that's where the self-teach comes in. You know, one, finding a network is huge, but also self-teach and finding books, listen to audiobooks. I'm a big fan of audiobooks because, hey, me mentally, my brain is wired to go, go, go. So, for me to sit there and really read a book for like an hour on end is like, hey, this is your downtime. You about to go to sleep. So I kind of gotta be like, okay, you know what? Let me listen to an audiobook because I know that it's in the back of my mind and it's sinking in while I'm kind of on the go with my energy or whatever the case is. And, not every part of a book is going to be juicy or informative. Some of it is a lot of fluff to what you really need to know. So listening to an audiobook, you're like, okay, I just heard like 500 words, but only 20 of them really resonated. And that's just kind of like what it is. It's like, hey, not everything is important, but there is some stuff in there that you're meant to absorb, and then you're going to start to implement that subconsciously. Like, oh snap, I didn't even know that I was doing this. I thought this was all from me. Nope, it was from that audiobook you heard a week ago.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. There's a there's an app called Blinklist, and
Okay.
they give like the really short clips of a book. And having that, you can say like, oh, do I want to invest in hearing the whole book, or do I want to check another blink list and see if there's a better book out there for me? But yeah, figure out the books that work for you. What was funny, like I learned one of the funniest lessons because I love books. I love to learn through books, whether that's audio or reading them. I learned through both of them, and I would try to get my wife to read these books because like the lessons are in the books. They're in the books. Well, anyway, she would just she's fighting tooth and nail. She doesn't want to read the books, but she ends up watching this drama show, and she realizes that she needs to treat me better, right? Like she's got to take care of her husband, and it's because of the way the woman was treating her man. And I'm sitting there like, you can learn something from everything. Like you get the opportunity to learn from everything if you want. And so I'm like, all right, if it's gonna be a drama show for my wife, if that's where she wants to learn her lessons, I'm going to let her learn her lessons that way. I'm not going to have her do the book reading because she's not a book reader. But I will say this: there's a book called The Little Black Book, and it says the only thing that will change in your life are the books that you read and the people that you meet. And the I'm 41 now. The more I go through this journey, the more I realize just how true that is. You're always going to have the same life if you don't meet new people or the right people and you don't read the right books. So ask yourself, am I around the right people and am I reading the right stuff?
And
My
that's
wife,
and that's and that's the challenge right there. I had a conversation with my fiance at the time, and she was telling me something like, "Oh, well, I don't believe in, as we get more and more successful, or we get, more and more on our journey, that, it gets lonely at the top. We could definitely continue to bring, our friends with us, and, we shouldn't cut them off
mhm,
because, we maybe we've outgrown them, or if I'm even using the right words, you know, that, you know, that we got to leave our friends behind. Let's just say that.
yep,
And I was like, what? Like, I guess maybe because my mindset was different, where it's just like, I guess I get your point. You don't want to leave your friends that you started with. They were there for you, supposedly, or whatever the case is. And now, hey, you're like, they're kind of holding you back at this point. But you like, oh, they're my friends. They're not, even though, I don't want to smoke or drink or go out and have a good time with them or whatever the case is, they it's one of those things where it's just like, I still want to be their friends though. But no, you're not on the same wavelength at this point. You
Yeah.
don't want to do what you used to do. You want to continue to grow, but you're still trying to hold on to the past that's saying, hey, you know, stick with us, stick with us. We're gonna lead you the right way. But
Yeah.
the path you're on, you're like, hey, I want to be a millionaire. And they want to be average. They want to just be who they are, go to work, come home, do what they do, go to work the next day. And
Yeah.
they don't have millionaire status on their mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
So now it's taking you 20, 30, 40 years to ultimately maybe even get where you're going, or maybe you never even got there because you didn't want to let go of that circle of people that didn't want to go nowhere. And because they didn't want to go nowhere, they're not enticing you, they're not indulging that brain of yours to think bigger. They're thinking the same.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like when you can look at those opportunities and weigh them, it's about weighing your opportunities. I I I have a love for people, right? But it doesn't mean I have to do what they're doing either. I had a group of friends who they would like to go to the club and they would like to drink. Great for them. When my desires changed, my habits changed. I couldn't go to the club and drink if I'm getting ready to do a fight. Now, I could celebrate with them after I won a fight or something like that. Like there's
No,
still options and opportunities.
no drunken master.
Yeah, I just to take a couple of shots and be like, Dana White's looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? So yeah, it comes down to really just being able to ask yourself the real questions like, okay, you said you want this. How are these actions helping you make that a reality? Really? Like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, let me go sit down and scratch lottery tickets on a regular basis every single day. I'm gonna get there. Like, I mean, good luck. Like that's all that's all I can give a person.
That's all it is luck. But I know that we're getting close to the hour, so I just want to make sure we go over a couple of things because we are getting close to the season, guys. And you know, I had to write it down. I had to make sure that I got it all out. Yeah. So we are getting close to the season, and one thing is mindset. Understanding your why is going to be crucial. We went over that at the beginning of this hour. That hey, that's everything. It's your backbone to why you do what you do, and it's going to help you get through adversity if your why is strong enough. Um, so that's one thing. And then understanding what you charge. So as moving company owners, hey, you know what? We have a list of services that we offer, and some of us aren't tuned into numbers. I had a conversation with a student of mine yesterday, and he was just like, yo, I don't know numbers. And hey, it's not to make you feel any less smarter, any less, educated, whatever the case might be. It's it should actually excite you to want to know what you don't know. And if you're charging 160 right now, 170 right now for whatever man package, 2 man, 3 man, whatever it is, at the end of the day, why are you charging 160? Why are you charging 170? If a customer comes in and say, well, hey, I got a lower bid for $150, and now you say, well, hey, I'm going to drop my rates to 130 because I want this job. Why are you dropping it to 130? Like, are you dropping it because you don't know your numbers and you don't know what your overhead is? What does it cost you to keep your lights on every day in your warehouse or your home or wherever you operating out of? Knowing these factors, your overhead, knowing your taxes, the taxes that you pay your employees. So if you're saying, hey, I want to pay my driver $35 an hour, hey, kudos, you could do that. But understand that you're really paying your driver maybe $38 to $39 when it comes with taxes if you're doing payroll. And understand that, okay, well, now that one driver is $40. My mover, he's about maybe another $25. So now you're like 40 and 25, you're at $65. And then you're like, okay, well, hey, I want to charge whatever, a little fee in there for supplies, and then I want to charge my profit or whatever the case is. So now maybe you're at $110. And then you say, well, hey, does that include the truck? Oh no, that don't include the truck. I need to at least make this much for the truck, or I need to charge this. So now you're at maybe $140 with the truck included per hour. So now you're saying, well, hey, before you even knew all this calculation, you were saying, hey, I'm going to drop my rates to 130. Something didn't get paid. Somebody didn't get paid. Maybe it's you, and it's just like, and it's like, oh my goodness. Like, so basically understanding why you're doing what you're doing. Be strategic, be intentional. Look at another thing, look at your packing supplies. So if you're getting it from a pack and supply vendor like Victory Packaging, U-Haul, Home Depot, wherever you're getting your packing supplies from, the market is changing. So making sure that, hey, you have a rate sheet that you can look at and say that, oh, well, damn, that small box used to be 99 cents. Now it's $1.05 or $1.10. Okay, that makes a difference on your bottom line. So you were initially charging, let's say, $2 when the box was 99 cents. Now it went up to $110. So now maybe go up to $2.20 or something like that. So really audit your rates to make sure that your bottom line is still not being 100% affected. So get a rate sheet, make sure all your packing supplies are audited, make sure that you're understanding the marketing value right now. And then tighten things up. If you haven't started tightening it up, making sure that your guys aren't clocking themselves out and clocking themselves in, making sure that, hey, if you are doing credit card tips, that you have a process for how you distribute the credit card tips. I know one of the things is, hey, guys aren't sticking around or guys are leaving or whatever the case is. Some people like to put tips in the payroll, where now, hey, a guy got tipped on Monday, but guys don't get paid till Friday. Or, hey, if they got tipped this Monday and they're not getting paid until next Friday for the work that they did this week, now you're holding their tips because they got a credit card tip until next Friday. And that's hard on anybody because they want that tip now. They earned that tip. So, like, granted, you're giving them all the tips they got last week for this week, but these people are waiting way too long to get money that's supposed to be instant. So, one of the things that I feel like, if we can do is, hey, for my payroll company is, hey, we give the tips the next day if it's a credit card tip. Make sure the funds are available, give the tips the next day, whether you Zelle it, Cash App, Venmo, whatever you got to do. Make sure you have like a business Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle, so that pretty much you can reconcile that, but give it to them the next day. They'll start to see, oh, damn, okay, I got $100 in a tip. So I'm getting that the next day on top of my normal day-to-day stuff. And it's a morale increase because they're getting their money as soon as they need it. And when they need it, because they want to buy lunch or they want to do something with their money, it's a morale thing. So definitely, tightening the holes in your bucket, making sure you clock your crews in, make sure you clock your crews out. Focus on, company culture, because, hey, the summer is going to be real, and if you treat your guys like workers, like, hey, go out there, do the work, I'll see you tomorrow, and these guys are hurting, at the end of the day, they're going to feel like a number. They're going to feel like they're being used, and, they need to feel like they're being appreciated. So having some type of culture in place where it's like, hey, my guys used to come in the morning, we used to play basketball in our warehouse right before they're kicking off the day. Make sure they don't get hurt now, because they still got to go do that job. But, used to have a little fun in the morning where, you get them hyped, get the energy up at 7 in the morning, whatever the case is. All right, guys. So we got a full day today. Let's go out and crush it. 5 stars. I need that on that. Get those 5 stars. And now that they got the energy hype, they're excited. They actually want to come back and finish that game that they had. It's kind of like, okay, you know what? They're going to go out there, they're going to do this job efficiently. They're going to go out there and they're not going to drag the job out because, they want to do something. They want to, in this term, get that smoke, to the next guy. So, having a culture in place, make sure your rates is proper, make sure you're clocking your crews in and out, make sure you're giving your guys their tips right away, are all going to be crucial things. And then, networking. Networking is going to be key to everything, So as an owner, get out there, start networking more, go to, if you're in BNI groups, continue to go to your chapter events. If you're in chambers of commerce, go to whatever networking events you can go to. Realtors associations, whatever associations you can find, after hour networking events. When I moved down to Florida, I learned so much with these networking events where I, was going to 5 p.m. events, 7 p.m. events. And, we'll call it cocktail hour. So now you're having a drink, you're talking to other business owners, and you're just networking, getting their business cards, they're getting your business cards, and they're getting a feel for who you are so that they can refer you to other people and you can do the same for them. And you start to build that strong, powerful network of people. Anything on your end, Cliff?
Yeah. Keep it simple. Listen and figure out what do you need to do right now and what do you need to let go of right now. What actions do I need to take to move forward? And share with us what's working for you. Would love to know. That way we can constantly provide the value as you're moving forward in your journey, and making sure that you win. Like, also, if you feel like share what your dream is, what you're looking to accomplish. Like I said, I want to influence 1 billion people. What do you want to do on your journey? I'd love to know so that we can support you in that. But appreciate you all. And Dwight, always appreciate you, my brother.
Definitely, definitely. So I'll leave y'all with some motivation and stuff. One of the things that I like to hear some mornings is Eric Thomas and how he talks about wanting it bad, wanting it as bad as you want to breathe, And I feel like, just hearing that sometimes is so powerful because you gotta want what you want in life badly. Make it an exception. I don't know, obsession. Yes, that's the word.
Amen.
And kind of go from there. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that memo, and y'all have a great day. All right,
Take care,
everyone.
everyone.
Let's see. Make sure this plays.
Just be talking about you want to make 6 figures tonight. If you do the 3 things I tell you to do tonight, I guarantee you, whatever it is you want to do in life, you will do. You will be able to accomplish whatever you want to academically, financially, relationally, whatever. So 3 things. All right, I'm going to tell you the story. I got to get out of here. And the story is about, you guys have probably heard about this before. It was a young man who, he wanted to make a lot of money, and so he went to this guru, right? He told the guru, I want to be on the same level you on. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. He like, the beach? I said, I want to make money. I don't want to swim. Guru said, if you want to make money, I'll meet you tomorrow, 4 a.m. So the young man got there at 4 a.m. He all ready to rock and roll, got on the suit, should have wore shorts. The old man grabs his hand and said, how bad do you want to be successful? He said, real bad. He said, walk on out in the water. So he walks out into the water. Watch this. When he walks out into the water, it goes waist deep. So he like, this guy crazy. Adrian, like, I want to make money. He got me out here swimming. I didn't ask to be a lifeguard. I want to make money. He got me in. So he said, come out a little further. Walked out a little further. Then he had it right around this area, the shoulder area. So this old man crazy. He making money, but he crazy. He said, come on out a little further. Came out a little further. It was right at his mouth. My man like, I'm about to go back in here. This God is mine. So the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. He said, I do. He said, walk a little further. He came, dropped his head in, held him down, hold him down. My man getting scratching, holding him down. I got you. I know you brushed it out, but I got you. He had him held down. I need you for an illustration. He had him held down. Just before my man was about to pass out, he raised him up. He said, I got a question for you. Somebody answer the question for me. He said, when you were underwater, what did you want to do? Lee, I'm looking for a different word though than live. What's that word? Said I wanted to breathe. He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep.
So on that note, everybody, y'all enjoy your day. Y'all take care.
Have a great day.